Okay, so we need to make our game end. So let's jump back into our match manager script. And then down the bottom here, below our score check, I'm going to add another void. So void, this time for state check. Oops. Like so. And all this is going to do at this point we will have found the winner, and it'll go and list the players to everybody and update everybody about the state of the game. We have that working. And then in our list players receive, there we go. In our list players receive, we go through all this data, we set our end state, and then at the bottom here, each individual is going to run the state check function. So it was only our master that sent this information out, but each individual one that receives it is going to then check its own state. And at this point, it should be set to ending the game. So in here, we're going to check if our state equals game state dot ending. And if that's true, then we're going to call another function down here, a void end game function. So let's call that from here. We're going to say if we are in the ending game state, then start calling the end game function. No matter what, we should be in this state at this point, but in case we decide to handle this going into this end game state a little bit differently later, we're just going to verify and make sure that game state dot ending is definitely set in here. That's really important, so we know it's definitely true. Then what we're going to do is, now that we've ended the game, we're going to say if I'm the master client, so if Photon Network dot is master client. So if I'm the master client, then what I'm going to do is destroy everything that has been instantiated on the network. So all the players that were instantiated, we're going to destroy those. So we're going to say Photon Network dot destroy all. So this is so we don't have players still running around after the match is completed. And then after that, we're going to tell the UI controller to display the end screen. So UI controller, UI controller dot instance dot end screen set active true. And we'll also tell it to show the leaderboard, because we want to be able to see the leaderboard at the very end. Because our player will be going back out to the main menu from here, we want to make sure that they have the cursor available to them, so they're able to click on buttons again to start playing more games. So here we're going to say our cursor dot lock state equals cursor lock mode none. And we're just going to make sure that it's definitely visible by saying cursor dot visible equals true. So we can definitely see the cursor. And then down here, the next thing we want to do is make it wait a couple of moments and then go out to the main menu. We don't want it to just stay, or we don't want it to just go straight back to the main menu. So much like we've done before when we had our players taking a while to respawn, we're going to add a coroutine here. So we're going to add a private IEnumerator that we're going to call endCo, like so. And then we're going to call this here. So we're going to say start coroutine endCo, like so. And then in here, we're going to make it wait. So yield return new wait for seconds. And how long do we want it to wait? Whatever value we have set in up here in our wait after ending variable. So let's go back down here. Then we're going to say wait after ending. And because this is running on each of our individual elements and we don't want to be tied to any other player at this point, we're going to return back to our menu from here. So we're going to say, first of all, Photon Network dot automatically sync scene equals false. You remember we set that to be true back on the main menu when we were connecting with other players. So we set that to false, and then we say Photon Network dot leave room. And as I said, that'll trigger up here the override on left room, and that's what's going to load us back out to the scene manager. So let's save this and go back into Unity. Let that compile. And if we go ahead and go to our match manager, we're going to oh, we didn't do the map camera point. Oh yeah, we want to do that in a different script anyway. I'm going to assign that here, and we're going to make that work in just a moment. We'll do that before we go and build the game to test it, because that's a very simple thing to do. But let's just make sure while we're here that on the canvas, the end screen is assigned there. Okay, that's good. So with the map camera point on our match manager, when we get to the end of the game, we want to make sure that the camera goes to that position when our player detects that we're in the ending state. So let's go to our player controller, and what we're going to do is in the late update, which is around here somewhere, there we go. The late update is what's controlling the position of the camera, and here we're going to say if match manager dot instance dot state is equal to match manager dot game state dot playing. So if we're in the playing state, then the camera should be at the viewpoint. Else, put the camera dot transform dot position is equal to match manager dot instance dot map cam point dot position. And I'm just going to save myself typing all that back out again and paste it in, and just change this to rotation and this one to rotation. Okay, so why are we doing this here when we know that the player controller is going to be destroyed when we get into the end game state anyway? And that is true, but what's really important to note is that we're doing this in the late update function. So update, or well, the events and things like that will all happen at a certain point in our loop, but when we call destroy an object, that actually happens at the very end of the sequence of things in Unity. So when you destroy something, it doesn't instantly get destroyed. It gets destroyed before the next update comes around, before the next frame is complete. But late update happens before anything gets destroyed. So the late update will be called before we destroyed, and that'll move the camera to the map cam point position, and then the player will get destroyed and we'll be left with the camera just sitting in that correct place. So let's save this, and then let's go back into Unity, and we should be able to make this build at that point. I'm just going to close out the one that I have running here, or else I'll get an error. And I'm going to just save this, and I'm going to go ahead and build and run the game, and I'll jump back once that's built. Okay, so I've got one game running here. We just need to have two people in our game so that I can kill one of the players. Let's find that room here. We'll run around as this player so that I can easily find where the player is. There we go, hiding out there. So that's one. Where are they now? Maybe I should have decreased the amount of time for respawning to make all this testing a bit easier, but oh well, we're in it now, so it doesn't really matter at this point. Oh, there you go, right there, and take out the player, and perfect. Oh, I left the leaderboard with all these placeholders in place. We don't want that. But perfect, we now get kicked back out to the main menu after a few seconds. So once I fix up that minor leaderboard problem, apart from that, our systems work perfectly. We're able to complete the match, and we get kicked back out to the main menu.